7 times. That's how many times you tried to push the thought out mid-sujood before you even sat up. You'd think trying harder would make it quieter. It does the opposite. Your forehead is on the ground. Your lips are moving through the same words they've said 1,000 times. And underneath all of it, the thought is still there. Louder now than before you started praying, not softer. Your jaw tightens. Your breathing gets shallow. You press your eyes shut like that'll physically shove it out of your head. And here's the part nobody explains to you. The pushing itself is what's making it louder. Here's what's actually happening in your head. In the 1980s, a psychologist ran a strange experiment. He told people one simple thing. For the next 5 minutes, don't think about a white bear. That's it. Just don't think about it. And almost everyone in the study did the exact opposite. The white bear showed up in their mind more, not less, and it kept popping back up for hours afterward. Psychologists call this the rebound effect of thought suppression. The act of trying not to think about something requires your brain to keep checking. Am I thinking about it? And that checking process is itself a thought about the very thing you're trying to avoid. You can't monitor for a thought's absence without holding the thought in mind to check against. This is even stronger in a moment like prayer. You're already in a focused, high-stakes mental state, trying to be fully present, which means your brain is working overtime to monitor itself. More monitoring means more checking. More checking means the thought surfaces more often, not less. This isn't a spiritual failing, and it isn't a sign your iman is thin. Almost every human brain does this, with almost any unwanted thought. It's not specific to religious thoughts, and it's not a sign of anything wrong with you specifically. It's a well-documented quirk of how attention and suppression work. And it gets stronger the harder you try to fight it in the moment. And here's where it gets interesting, because the Sunnah already points toward the actual solution, without anyone needing to call it thought suppression science. The Prophet taught that when whisperings come during prayer, or in matters of faith, the response isn't to fight the thought head-on, it's to seek refuge and redirect. Say, I seek refuge in Allah, and continue. Notice what that instruction does. It doesn't tell you to suppress the thought, argue with it, or force it out. It gives something else to do instead, a redirection, not a battle. That distinction matters more than it sounds like it should. Psychologists who study thought suppression have found that fighting a thought directly is what backfires, but redirecting attention to something else, rather than trying to erase the thought by force, actually works. The Sunnah's instruction isn't a spiritual workaround for a psychological problem. It's functionally the same solution modern research arrived at independently, centuries later. Don't fight the thought. Redirect past it. So when Waswas gets louder, the harder you push against it. That's not you failing at pushback. That's pushback itself being the wrong tool, which the guidance you already have was quietly pointing you toward the whole time. So, here's the actual practice. Not try harder to ignore it, but something structurally different. The next time a thought surfaces mid-prayer, don't fight it, argue with it, or try to force it out. Instead, say the redirection phrase once. I seek refuge in Allah. And then immediately continue your recitation, out loud or in your head, without pausing to check whether the thought is gone. That checking pause is exactly what keeps the loop alive. The goal isn't a blank mind. The goal is to let your attention move forward past the thought, the same way you'd let a passing car go by instead of chasing it down the street. Outside of prayer, if a thought keeps returning, try naming it plainly in your head. That's just a passing thought. instead of engaging with its content or trying to prove it wrong. Arguing with an intrusive thought treats it as something that needs defeating. Naming it and moving forward treats it as what it actually is: mental noise, not a verdict on your faith. This won't make the thoughts stop appearing overnight, but it removes the one thing that was making them louder: the fight. But there's a version of this that's harder to redirect away from, because it isn't a passing thought at all. For some people, it's not one intrusive moment during prayer. It's a constant, low-grade sense of not having done enough, that no amount of prayer, dua, or effort is ever quite sufficient. And that's not the same brain pattern as this one. That's something else entirely.